I should probably get used to saying the name Jiri Prohaska because I feel like this guy is going to be a huge problem. Problem is actually the word that Clayton Hires called him. Clayton sent me a text. Are you watching this guy? This guy's a problem. It's a great word. It's a great word. And Bisping was breaking down this fight live. But one of the things that Bisping isolated and talked about was that Yuri only has bad intentions. There's heat on everything. I can remember when Boss Rutan used to shadow box, but every time Boss would shadow box, it was never this. Never just feeling for each. Oh, there's the two. Come in, get warmed up a little bit. Everything, it was violent. And I even asked him about it. I said, hey, these clips I see of you shadow box, do you ever shadow box at a different pace? How come it's so violent? He said, no, that's how I shadow box. And I started doing it myself. I took it with me. But I bring that to you because it was an interesting thing, at least for me, when Bisping was able to identify that. And Bisping is right. This guy's got bad intentions. He'll punch you he'll kick you in the leg and hope your face breaks. Like, he hurt everything. This guy just come out and hurt everything. Keeping up with Dominick Reyes is very difficult to do. Dominick Reyes should not be judged in any other way than as one of the most courageous 205-pounders that goes out and takes the most courageous 205-pound fights. To watch what's happened to Reyes, to watch this slide since the night that he had this wonderful performance over John Jones. I don't know, and it's very common in sport. It's very common in sport when something goes so great, boom, you come down. You look back to that night. You tell people about that night. You don't use that night as a springboard into something else. You use it as a real height and you come down. There's not a lot that you can do. It's easy to sit back on the outside and observe when this is happening, but there's not a lot that the athlete can do. He can't control his highs and his lows. He can just, am I going to practice? Am I working hard? Am I listening to the right people? You check those boxes, your career is your career. If you're not checking one of those boxes, okay, great, go in and fix this. But if you are, and I only suggest that to you because I'm not seeing anything bad out of Dominick Reyes at all. Dominick Reyes, for me, looks just as good now as he did the night that he fought Jones. I get that the performances are different. Some of them are even shorter, but he's still dancing with the one that brought him. He's going out, he's trading heat with the Blachowicz and the Jiri Prochazkas of the world. And he's doing well. It turned out they also do it very well. But we're starting to identify who the best guys on earth are. Right? When you're in a 5-round main event on Saturday night, aired on ESPN, you're figuring out who the baddest dudes on earth are. Reyes is a top 5 guy from what we've seen. I say that because Reyes is now in a tough spot. He's in a very tough spot personally. Of why was I the best fighter in the world this night over the more difficult of the opponents? And I'm not seeing the second round this night and this night. It's just one of those things. It is a mental drill that Reyes is in right now, not physical. Mentally, he's got to believe in the process. He's got to stay the course. Reyes is looking very good. The problem we're seeing, we don't know how good Blachowicz is. Did you guys think Blachowicz was going to beat Adesanya? Because if you did and you put a little bit of money on it, you got 3 times that money right now. We didn't know. We didn't know how good Prochaev is. And I'm familiar with Yuri because I'm good friends with King Mo. King Mo fought him twice. They split. Mo TKO'd him. Mo got TKO'd. It was one of these things, and that was years ago. It was over an organization called Ryzen, but I remember seeing that name. I remember watching that fight. And there's plenty of Ryzens that I've missed, but I didn't miss any that King Mo was on. I supported his career, every single one of his matches. But I bring it to you because I remember seeing Prochaev back then, and to use Clayton's words, he's a problem. He's abnormally tall for the weight class, which is an advantage that Reyes always has, just by example. But just height and reach alone, you start to cross each other out. It took something away from Dominick that Dominick usually has. I'm into the gimmick. The hair is weird, but that stuff works. That stuff works. Having this open attitude, I thought he cut a great interview after where he looks like a super scary guy, but he speaks like a pretty friendly guy. Anytime you have that kind of yin and yang, it just works. Mike Tyson having the world's biggest scalp, but then having a voice, but it works. Whoa, I didn't see that come. There's something compelling. There's something going on here. There's something to watch for. And I think that, Ryan, help me out. Prohaska. Yuri or Jury, we're going to have to find that one out. Prohaska. And I'm not trying to be condescending or make a joke. I'm being serious. Tough name. Names matter. Otherwise, we'd all just walk around and call each other Walter. And I think Prohaska, I mean, I know when he comes back in a main event. Question is, against who? Is he already ready for a championship fight? It's one of those things. And then why is 205 so good right now? What happened? I mean, was it just this was going to happen anyway, or did these guys get a real shot in the ass when John Jones left? There's athletes when they're as good as John Jones where you just throw your hands up and go, Coach, we're training for second. And you know it. You wake up every day not having the same goal or the same dream as other people. You're just not going to get through this guy. But it does appear the moment that John left, these guys started to see opportunity. They started to flourish. Does one have to do with the other? I don't know. Timeline-wise, I'm right. Was it going to happen anyway? Was it going to happen natural? John's matches were getting a lot closer. I understand all of those things. I'm just choosing to compliment 205 pounds right now because, I mean, this is scary. It was 2 years ago or less, guys, when we were doing the Weidman experiment, when we were doing the Luke Rockhold experiment, just to get a name up there, to get a name at 205 pounds. These guys are going to walk right into feature co-main event and main event fights. That wasn't even a question. They go get one win for either one of those guys. They get one win. They're fighting for the belt. Now 205 pounds? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. And Glover's going to be right there, too. I mean, not for nothing. I realize we're looking at a lot of these new names. I'm not sure one of these old names isn't going to be the king of the mountain soon. That's between these guys to figure out. But 205 pounds. Prokhrayev? Is it Prokhrayev? Prohaska. Remember that name, Prohaska. I'll remind you.